You want to know what's worse than slinging coffee because you were so stupid you got a degree in liberal arts? Is having to smile while handing that $12 latte to a wise ass who's wearing this shirt. Invisible Hand Fashion offers shirts, totes, and mugs for people who are not afraid to melt some snowflakes. And please, don't be afraid to use the promo code SpaceGhost and get 10% off your first order. Link is in the description, bitches, right down where my balls should be. Hello, ladies. Bad Pop here, and I got horrible news for you. It's a good thing there's only 5 of you watching this. And for those of you who subscribe to this channel for the sole reason to downvote my shit, just do it now because it's only gonna get worse. Welcome to the Department of Repugnancy Department. We're gonna tell you what to expect when your significant other is expectorating. Let's face it, you committed one of the classic mistakes that men make. You slipped one by the goalie, and now your woman looks like a hockey player. I know you guys are like, Pop, this is the miracle of life. You can't make fun of this. Oh, yes, I can. And I am gonna get as distasteful as your toilet for the first trimester. Don't believe me? Just keep watching. Yeah. Now, before we begin, I am going to throw a disclaimer in there, and you liberals will call it a trigger warning. Some of this stuff is temporary, and some of it is not. And there are dudes out there who have now begun to cry in your beer. You have my sympathy because I have been there. All of what I'm going to talk about starts after you slip one by the goalie, but that is the result. We're going to go to the beginning. Because most of these pregnancies today start with a very subtle and simple conversation.
You don't have to pull out. My last boyfriend never did it, and I never got pregnant.
Oh, I've heard this one before.
I was in a car accident, and I was injured down there, and I can't get pregnant.
Right. Or you're gonna get this. I'm on the pill, or I get the shot, or I'm on the IUD, which I call the IED because it blows up your life. I have a lot of guys who are older, and they're gonna be like, Pop, he ain't lying, that happened to me. But you younger guys who are below 34, this is you. Oh, it's okay. She loves me. She won't do me like that yet. Bullshit!
I'm pregnant.
Fuck off.
What?
What? There's a saying out there. This is the first day of the rest of your life. But this, that's the first face you make for the rest of your life. 1 minute, you're at the bar, you're drinking, you're having a great time, you're slinging seed like an old bird feeder. Next minute, you're standing in front of your minivan, driving your kids to daycare with a mortgage and a car payment going, how the fuck did I get here? I've been there, it happened to me. I had a Camaro, right? 383, jet black, had a hood scoop. It was a 2-man enter, 1-man leave car. I ain't never getting rid of this car, fuck this. Get married, have kids, minivan. I remember, like making excuses for it. What? It's got an automatic opening door. Like, that makes a difference. Shut up! Gentlemen, you can physically feel your erections go down 15% when you buy that minivan. The minute you sign for it. In the morning, your dick is looking up at you going, dude, you fucked up. You have shamed me. There's a reason why you call your dick your little soldier. Because you're supposed to cover him before he goes in the war zone. And if you don't, this is exactly what's gonna happen.
This is what a woman is supposed to look like. Okay, we're not just skin and bones. We have flesh. We have curves.
You have little people inside you.
Listen, I am going to be honest here. What I'm going to cover does not apply for all women. Some women, they actually get that glow and they look good when they're pregnant. But it is a very small minority. Some of you will take that trip to Shabalba and back. And some of you, a very few, you ain't coming back, just saying. There are some women out there who pull the pin on that fat grenade and they blow the fuck up and they get jowls and howls and cankles and yankles and shankles. And then when it's over, they just snap back in shape like it never happened. And God bless those women.
Woo! Woo! I love every
It's like Doctor Strange. It's like, oh, we're just gonna take care of that. Whoop, turn back the clock. That is the miracle of childbirth right there. And then, gentlemen, there's the reality of childbirth. And that is the seedy underbelly that we're gonna be talking about here. I need a drink. There are some women out there, when they get pregnant, they're a solid 7. But within that first trimester, by the end of that, they're sporting a 4. So they've dropped 3 in the look scale. God damn it.
How you doing? Thank you. I love you too, baby.
And the worst part of it, gentlemen, is this quite possibly can be permanent.
In a society where the deck is increasingly stacked against men, the best chance at a life worth living is to escape the cubicle war. Ditch that soul-sucking job and never look back. Pick up corporate land on Amazon.com today. A link is in the description.
All right, gentlemen, please don't shit your pants just yet. You know, it's not all women, not hashtag all women. If you're lucky, they'll come back to like a 6.5 or a 6. Maybe. You're gonna see some strange, bizarre physical changes. It's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. They're gonna gain weight in places you never thought possible. Hell, she might even wind up with back tits. You're laying on your side, you're like, put your tits on me.
That's my back.
Same thing.
Man, that's just mean. That's mean, man.
Just imagine you sculpt a perfect woman out of Play-Doh or clay. And then you walk out of the room to get a drink, and some blind 3rd grader comes in and he fucks with it. And then you come back and you're like, what just happened?
This is not what I signed up for. This is not what was here when I left. What's happening? This used to be a work of art. Now it looks like a lump of shit with back tits. Oh, I'm just getting my ass kicked by God.
And so is she. She's got weight in her face, hanging off of her neck. Hell, on the back of her neck. You can call her hot dog neck. Remember that turkey neck we talked about? Ooh, ooh. That's what's going on. And gentlemen, bad news. That's just here. You have the whole rest of her body to worry about. You get all of this bulbous meat that grows and gelatinous fat, and it starts to become yankles and shankles and cankles. Blah. It starts to accumulate around the joints. And if you're unlucky, it gets so big it starts to fold over on itself.
No, please, no more.
The worst part, gentlemen, even after the kid arrives and she loses all that weight, she's still gonna have the bat skin arms, if you know what I mean. And if she gets really big, you're gonna wind up with the flying squirrel suit. That means she can jump out of the airplane and glide to safety from 10,000 feet. And did I mention, no parachute needed. Oh.
You are disgusting.
And I hate to take it here, gentlemen, but sometimes it gets so bad that you experience retro regret.
Oh my God. I actually put my dick in that. I think I'm gonna go scrub with some bleach.
To be fair, gentlemen, this usually doesn't apply to women that you knock up. If you love her. They are carrying your kid, and I will allow my black dead heart to skip a beat because it is a beautiful thing, just saying. But she's probably not the only chick you banged. And there's probably a handful, if you know what I mean, just saying. Thanks to social media, you can see what happened to these women you used to bang 20 years later. I've made that one bad click and went, oh my God, I need to take a shower. It could be 20 years later, you still want to wash off the mongoloid, if you know what I'm saying.
I can't believe I hit that. Thank God I did it while it was still hot, but oh my God, I hope she doesn't see me.
These women, when they were 21, they were hot. They were game. They were full game. But at 41, 20 years later, they kind of look like Jabba the Hutt and their nose spread out so much, you're glad you didn't take up cocaine. You're just like, oh God.
Don't, please, oh my God, she saw me.
And it's not just the nose that spreads. When they turn sideways, you can see the hump in the back. And that's because their hormones are all fucked up. I call that Quasimodo-itis, and nobody ever wanted to bang Igor, I'm just saying. I get it, some of that stuff sounds extreme, and you're probably correct. But a lot of the normal stuff is far worse. And some of that stuff congregates right around here, sometimes lower. And I shudder at calling it its true name, because it brings a little bubble of vomit right about here. So I call it some, innocuous things like tiger stripes, or tree bark, or the burn victim belly, or somebody who was attacked by a bear. I'm just saying. I have to take a little bit of shot here. And I'm going to tell you what its real name is. Stretch marks, oh my God. If you're lucky. Real lucky, they won't even come. But if you're just semi-lucky, they'll be confined to areas that you can't see when they're wearing a bathing suit. But sometimes, and who am I kidding, quite often in fact, they are everywhere on the front and the back. And gentlemen, you know what that means? When the skin stretches to the point where it looks like it's going to explode and then it comes down, it's gonna hang. It's gonna hang here, 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 and here. In fact, she's gonna look like an American bulldog when you're done. Up here, we call them jowls. Here, we call them a fupa. Any lower, it becomes a second scrotum. And that's one scrotum too many in the relationship, just saying. Worst comes to worst, she develops a gunt, which is a gut upper nuptial taint. And that is so nasty and vile, we made a whole episode about it. In fact, check it out. And please, do not hold the mental images against me.
June is Worthless Degree Awareness Month, so take 1 hour of your wages you earn from flipping burgers and buy Worthless on Amazon. It's money well spent, unlike your gender studies degree. A link is in the description.
So, do you hate me yet? Because I'm just warming up. And as nasty as that is, it gets worse. Way worse. Get ready for it. As bad as it is to look at something that's completely gross, it's even worse when you don't see it coming. You don't know what I'm talking about, but you just wait because I have an example for you. Bad storm, power goes out, and the freezer's dead. And you know, after a few days, you're gonna have to clean that up, and you're dreading cracking that seal because you're gonna take in all of that olfactory horror right to the face. And that's what happens. Let's face it, we're dudes. We do like to get the thing wet, hopefully uncovered. And when she's pregnant, what better time is there? It's not like you're gonna double knock her up. You're like,
hey baby, let's have some unprotected coitus.
and she's like, sure, let's do this. Drops her panties, and that's when it hits you.
What's that smell?
I don't know what's going on in the downstairs mix-up. Somebody is mixing up the chemicals in the wrong order because that shit turns into a yeast farm. That's a best case scenario because a yeast infection, you can treat that with ointments and shit. But over smellyitis, you gotta stay on that ride until you ride into the bunkhouse, just saying. When this happens, you're gonna try to go right to home base and put the snorkel right in the slot. But she's gonna want you to go south of 8 Mile.
What? Don't you want to go down on me?
Not particularly.
Why not?
Yeah, because it smells like a skunk died up a buffalo's ass and he was shitting out diarrhea in a manure farm. Just saying. Not like you're gonna say that or anything, even though I would, but you would wind up on the next item on the list. And that is, hopefully temporary, narbipolargistic tendencies. Made an episode about it, check it out. All of you women out there, yes, I said all of you pregnant women, you go hormone crazy at some point or another. And us men, we're expected to deal with it because, you know, at the end of the day, you blame us for everything else, so it's our fault, right? And that brings us into the next item on the list. And if you're lucky, gentlemen, you won't get a full blast of this, at least until delivery.
Somebody want to help me? Trying to rip out my heart.
Once she starts to go into labor and feels the pain, the blame is gonna fall like rain. Those gloves, they come off. This is a bare knuckle brawl, and she tells you how she really feels.
Get out! Oh no!
She lets it all hang out because there's a doctor right there about to catch it all, and she lets it go all rights and lefts. She doesn't hold nothing back. This is all your fault! You did this to me! Wah, Space Ghost, ride it into the scene of the crash and shut the fuck up. No wonder the guys in the 50s stayed in the waiting room and had beer and passed out cigars. Those guys didn't want to put up with the bitching and bullshit.
Maybe I should have specified that I'd be needing a grown-up doctor.
Oh no, really, I'm fully qualified to...
Stoogie.
Whether or not it is or is not all my fault, I still gotta pay for it before, during, and after medical bills. Because once the meat sack explodes and the vaginal turd arrives, it's not over. Not by a long shot. Because if you don't lose that weight, you'll wind up fat, which hurts your back, your lower back, causes your tits to stretch, or you stay crazy, or you stay diabetic. You're still paying for it 100% all the way to the grave.
I won't be able to wear a bikini.
You wear a bikini now?
Yeah, you got a problem with that?
Nope. But I've never gone swimming with you.
In a nutshell, you should just shut the fuck up and quit blaming me, because my wallet is gonna remind me every day of the blame and shame. Let's face it, if you lost weight as fast as my wallet did, I'd probably still be banging you, Screen 5. But hey, don't tell them that, because they have a million excuses of why they're not losing weight. In fact, I made a video about it, excuses for being fat. Check it out. I call this guilt fallout, because we take all the blame and shame and guilt until the kid is 21. Oh, and I almost forgot, we take all the financial responsibility also, even if we get divorced and the kid's not living with us. Because feminism, even though you're working your ass off, paying all the bills, you're keeping the heat on, you're paying the mortgage, you're paying the car note, you're working 60 hours a week, and you might even have a second job, you better come home and be ready to help out. And this starts when she's pregnant and pretty much goes on. It never ends. I call this particular thing helplessness overreach. And you don't even have to be pregnant to pull this card. We've all heard this one.
Honey, I can't open this bottle. Do you mind? Honey, I'm too short to grab the serving dish. Can you grab it for me?
Smash a bottle, cut me with it, or get the ladder and get it your goddamn self. Not that you can ever stand up for yourself. Don't you ever make that mistake, gentlemen, because you'll always be wrong. Sooner or later, if you stand up for yourself one too many times, she's gonna get all the in-laws to team up on you. You see this all the time in professional wrestling. It's the tag team handicap match. It's one dude versus, I don't know, the world, or everyone that they could bring. There may or may not be a steel cage, but it's always there, and your head's gonna get slammed off of it sooner or later. Life eventually becomes a puke for power party. Whether or not she's pregnant or she's raising the kids, somebody in that house is always puking.
Get the phone. Call 911.
Oh, he's spitting up. Isn't that cute?
And then they're like, 8. What the fuck? 2 steps over the toilet. Get the mop. Even if you're not physically mopping it up, you're fiscally cleaning it up. You're paying all the bills.
Okay. I think it's all gone.
All of this boils down to one solitary core principle here, gentlemen, and you need to be made aware of it. They will use the core fact that they're carrying your child, and then they will use that to gain the upper hand, and then they abuse it. And if you let it, it could last forever. Listen, we've covered this before. That psychological orgasm she gets from cracking the whip over you beats the physical orgasm all day long, every day. And if you don't let her have it, guess what happens next? The sex, it evaporates like a puddle on the blacktop after a spring rain. Ironically, that's what they use to gain power in the first place. And then they evaporate it. And then they hold it in front of you like a carrot until you leave, and then somehow it's all your fault.
I'm guessing she's, what's the medical term? Upset. These 25-year-old females are usually completely rational. They're rocks, really.
It's not like they had any blame in this. You know, hell, they weren't in their body when they made the decision to do the sex rationing bullshit, right? It's not like they had anything to do with it. Women, they're not rational adults. They're not capable of making those decisions. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I just come across as sounding sexist? Because that is what feminism is teaching these women. Empowerment, winning. It's more like equal rights, and then you get the equal less, winning. Especially when you're holding men accountable for nature, because that revolves around logic, facts, and reason. I'm sorry, but I had nothing to do with you being born a female. That's a social construct, and if you don't like it, change a different gender. Space Ghost. Now listen, hook's hook, loop's loop, fire burns, ice is cold, and gravity always works, because at the end, everyone winds up 6 feet under, just saying. And when that day finally comes, all of the blame and shame that you've dished out for your long, miserable life won't mean jack shit. And if you don't like it, I don't care, because the truth is not an insult and reality is not an attack. And the truth is, at the beginning of this video, I said this doesn't apply to all women, just most of you. And if you don't like it, suck my Johnson, go to the gym, work out, because you ate your way in and you can walk yourself out. It's all your fault. In fact, I made a video about that too, called It's All Your Fault. Check it out. And while you're taking responsibility for your actions, please check out the links below for Patreon, PayPal, Maker support. Send us a couple bucks, because this shit is expensive. You know what else is expensive? Jack Apple. And what I have here is Jim Apple, and it's running low, and I need to upgrade, if you know what I mean. And please, do not forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell so you're notified when I make new videos. Because if you don't, I'm gonna grab your woman's fupa, warm it up, stretch it out, and then beat you to death with it. I can't tell you, I mean, literally in the middle of the night, what? I want you to go buy this. I got to go buy this shit at fucking Myers at 2 in the morning. Get the fuck out of here. I'm craving it. I want lamb and smoked turkey. Where do I get lamb at 2 in the morning?
I want pistachio ice cream with sunflower seeds and pickles. And I want it as a shake.